Greetings of the day, students. Today itself, we are going to start our subject of engineering economics. For second year, we take in electrical engineering. This is your assistant professor Kiran Nagre. I am a professor in finance and marketing. I have been teaching to the Management Institute of Shiksha Mandal since last 3 years. This is my third batch for engineering economics also. I'm blessed with the first two batches for Bajaj Institute of Technology in earlier too. Today we are going to discuss the very important topic from unit number 1. You might have seen the syllabus of engineering economics. There are 6 units basically. From first unit we are going to talk about some subject introduction, like we are going to discuss the macro and macro. So as I was saying, is our today's learning objective will be we will see the meaning of microeconomics and macroeconomics. We will see the difference between micro and microeconomics. And very important topic which we are going to discuss in this lecture is relationship between the science, engineering, technology and economic development, or the economic concept. Students, as you might have heard that micro means a small part. So microeconomics is the branch of economics which is concerned with the analysis of behavior or the behavior of the individual economic units or variables, such as individual consumer or the producer or the price of particular commodity. So microeconomic variables such as the factor input or the output or the supply and technology are very controllable by the manager in the firm. So as the Bowding defined the microeconomics, he says that it is a study of particular firms, particular households, individual prices, wages, income, individual industries, particular commodities. So essentially microeconomics is a study of particular economic organisms which includes the consumer, producers, etc. Producers are nothing but which are commonly known as the manufacturer for the country, and their interaction and of particular economic quantities such as the prices, wages, income, etc. So wages are the payment which we do to our labor, that is known as the wages. Now students, microeconomics consists of observing the economy through a very microscopic view. So at it where to see how the millions of cell in the body economic, like millions of consumer producers etc. act and react in the course of working of a whole economic organism. In other words, if we can say that microeconomics is a useful in understanding a firm's view of some very specific components of an economic system. So microeconomics is the study of decision made by the people and the businesses regarding the allocation of resources and the prices of the goods and services. Microeconomics focuses on the supply that determines the price level of the economy. So it uses the bottom up approach to analyze the economy. Microeconomics tries to understand human choices and their resource allocation. So microeconomics does not decide what are the changes taking place in the market. Instead, it explains why there are some changes which are happening in the market. So microeconomics basically deals with the individual decision making and the problem of resource allocation. It examines as how individual consumer or producer behave and how their behavior interacts. So basically it is an economic process which determines which goods should be produced, who will produce them, how they will be produced and how they will be distributed in that market. Microeconomics examines the allocation of resources in certain situations involving individual groups and society as a whole. but its approach is always specific and non-aggregate. Now coming uh, to the main key role of microeconomics is to examine how a company could maximize its production and capacity so that it could lower prices and better compete in the industry. So there are various key factors of macroeconomics which are demand, supply, and equilibrium. Production theory, we have cost of production, we have labor economics. So don't worry about it, student. We are going to discuss each and every key factors in detail in upcoming lectures. Here we can see the examples of microeconomics, which is individual demand or the price of particular product. Now we will jump to the meaning of macro. So macroeconomics is the branch of economics as the economics that depicts a substantial picture. So macro means large or the aggregate. Macroeconomics is a branch of economics which deals with the aggregate behavior of the economy as a whole. It is essentially an aggregate economics. It makes a study of economic system in general. It perceives the overall dimension of economic affairs of a country. Suppose you have heard about the GDP, then GDP is a concern of the matter which lies in microeconomics. Microeconomics looks at the total size, shape, and functioning of an economy as a whole rather than working of articulation or dimensions of the individual parts. Microeconomics studies the association between various countries regarding how the policies of one nation have an upshot on the other. It circumscribes the within its scope and analyze the success and failure of the government strategies, which gives you the idea of every nation's growth, economic development. So the microeconomics, we normally clarify the survey of how the nation's total manufacture and the degree of employment are associated with the feature like cost price or the wage rate of interest, profits, etc. So the important concept covered under macroeconomics are the capitalist nation, investment, expenditure, revenues, import, export, GDP, GNP. All those concerns are there in macroeconomics. So suppose if we are talking about the individual income, then that is a study of microeconomics. But when we talk about the national income, it is a topic of microeconomics. Now let's just discuss understand we have understood the concept of micro and macro. We are now moving further with the difference between the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. So there are various points of differences in between the microeconomics and the macro one. We will start with the first point, which is difference in nature. As we already understood that microeconomics is the study of behavior of the individual units, in particular the consumers, firms, and the resource owner, rather than the aggregates. But on the counterpart, microeconomics is the study of behavior of the economy as a whole. Next you have is there is a difference in methodology. So microeconomics is very individualistic, whereas the microeconomics is very aggregative in methodological approach. So suppose if we are talking about microeconomics, it did not refer the aggregate like market demand, market supply, but those are where concern which comes into the macroeconomics. The next point of difference you have is there is a difference in economic variables. As the name suggests, microeconomics is concerned with the behavior of micro variables or the micro quantities such as individual demand or the particular commodity prices, wages, or the individual industries. Microeconomics is however concerned with the behavior of micro variables or the micro quantities such as the national income or the price levels or the national output, total investment, total consumption, total saving of the economy. So in short, microeconomics deals with the individual income and output, whereas macroeconomics deals with the national income and national output. Next point of difference is in the field of interest. Microeconomic theories or microeconomics theories primarily deals with the problems of pricing and the income distribution. It seeks to explain the determination of relevant prices of particular commodities in a product market. It concerns with the determination of factor pricing such as the rent or the wages or the interest and the profit. Uh, and in turn the theory of economic distribution. But in microeconomics, on the other hand, it pertains to the problem of size of the national income, economic growth, and the general price level, which we taken into consideration while we decide when we talk about the inflation deflation. It is a matter of macroeconomics. Next, you have is there is a difference in outlook and scope of both of them. So microeconomics usually have the behavioral elements of the unit with homogeneous characters which are aggregated. For example, the concept of industry. So industry is basically industry refers to the set of all the firms producing homogeneous goods taken together. Taken an example of automobile industry wherein you can see that there is a homogeneous product which is four wheelers or the two wheelers and they are making it together. So all the firms are known come under the umbrella of automobile industry. So again, market demand is also aggregate concept. So wherein you have to aggregate the individual demand of each of them. That is uh, individual demand. That is where the microeconomics come. Now, macroeconomics, on the other hand, uses the aggregate which relate to the entire economy or to a large sector of the economy. When it considers the industrial output. So it refers to the whole of the output produced by the industrial sector. And suppose agricultural output for the entire agricultural sector had been taken under the microeconomics, had been studied. But agricultural output of one farmer or particular one farmer, it will be the topic of study in microeconomics. So that's it for the difference between the microeconomics and microeconomics. Now, student, there will be one question which come into your mind is why we are studying about the economics in engineering, or what is the need of studying economics in engineering? So your answer will be your questions will be answered in this section wherein we are going to talk about the relationship between the science, engineering, technology and economic development. So let's just understand this concept with an example. Um, how these four topics are interlinked will be explained will be understood by this one. So we will, as I am an economics professor, I am going to start with the economics. So let's go back in the time of 1950s when radios were all the rage. So radios was fun and engaging also. They were very popular in those days. So advertiser poured money and it was a very good business in those days. Then however what happens is people wanted more because there is an what can I say? There is a one principle of economics which says that we do have unlimited wants. That means human wants are unlimited. They never humans are never satisfied with the one want. So as in they wanted more. Imagine imagining that watching that sports game rather than hearing about the commentary. This idea was seen very big in those days. So people wanted more, and so they wanted to see the match in addition to hearing about it. So here's enter the science. So the tech behind the television is based on a solid principles of physics. You student might have known better than me. So how light behaves or how photons behave where scattered across a medium and so on. So this is where your research scientists work together. They come up with innovative techniques to harness the power of physics into something which can be used by the engineers for building the Pebble TV. Okay, so we talk about the science now. So now the science guys have established the theories and they came up with the some new cool technology. So the engineer now work on that to bring it to life. So they bring those theory into existing into a product. They transform them to into a product. So this involves applying the theory of light and related knowledge to build something practical. So this involves again building the CRT tube or the adding speaker and so on. Now we'll jump to the technology. So now the initial TV is built and it is working. The next task is agreeing on a broadcast standard or adding some useful features like maybe picture adjustment or the color correction or brightness, all the stuff, the way of tuning the channels and so on. So this is where the technology aspect comes in. So they do help you to finding out the answers of those problems. Now, after all these efforts, once the TV is built, it is needs to be manufactured in large number, wherein economics comes into the light or comes into the frame, which helps you to in manufacturing process or marketing process or the, make it available to end user for purchasing, wherein economics helps you. So this is where economics and a market plays a very important role. So manufacturers started flooding the markets with the TV, advertising about it and so on. So eventually it becomes a mainstream thing. So this flow entirely shows how all the terms are interlinked in the real life also. So student, it can also be concluded that the science helps you to understand the intricate details of the topic you are studying or the researching upon or any other for that matter. While engineering helps you to create or modify the path you will be arriving at your product. Technology helps you to automate it and do it at a faster pace with the help of engineering techniques. It again, technology allows you to showcase your work to the world more rapidly. Also, you can get a review, any suggestion to improvise upon with the help of technology again. But economics help you to market yourself or your product better, helps you to survive in the business, and also give an idea of market responses to your work. And that is why there is a subject called engineering economics in your syllabus. So generally we think that engineering is uh, engineering economics is deals with the application of economic principle in your engineering studies. So it is the study of efficient utilization of the factors of production or considering profit, demand, cost, pricing, production and competition, etc. So all the function of decision making and where is the problems which arrives in business management, the answer will get you can get from economics. Engineering economics is, again I will tell that it is a structure which help you to get over the engineering problems. It precisely gives an idea about various operations, various departments of economics. It will help you to analyze and understand the engineering problems. It will help you to various division with like consumption of product, production of product, distribution of product, etc. So that's it for today's lecture. In next lecture we are going to see another important aspect which is production possibility curve. Until then, stay tuned and thank you for this lecture.